studio closed and they happy to be ready. Woke slop flop stock dropped like Nvidia. China deep seek shake up the valley silicon. 2 trillion wiped out Chang Chang long. Doomsday 89 seconds to midnight. Meat beaten every goonsday and every goon night. Biblical flood wet up your youth center. Everything you don't like is hate speech censor. Black guy gun clip water Malone. Investor please leave a message after the tone. Beep. Go the sound of the layoffs. Bankrupt Ubisoft prep for the gay off. Cut the bamboo and pet the dog too. Journo huff the glue. Activists touch grass go moo. Change the world with political cancer. Questions unemployment can't answer. Hail a taxi when you might need a forklift. DEI resign and find a new grip. Blizzard and Gearbox guy issue a death threat. No financial support is my best bet. Kyle's thoughts make haters grab gun when all Chuda wants for games to be fun. Hello, beta testers. Like, subscribe, comment, or join. If you're done pretending, this isn't deliberate.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like,
it's hard for me to dignify this kind of thing with a response, so I'll say that I remember Anthony Mackie once speaking on how no one goes to movies for stars anymore, that the kids don't know people's names. And he was right about that. But now, Anthony Mackie should know that many who perhaps might never have spoken or known his name know him now as the black man taking over a historically white character's role, claiming that a character named Captain America shouldn't represent America. I don't care if Chris Evans has uttered equally brain-damaged liberal speaking points. I'm done pretending it's not deliberate, because they'd do anything to, at the very least, get people speaking about their Indian Mindy Kaling tier Velma slop, and this is their best way to force it. And in so Rachel Zegler time, narcissists must compromise potential sales by alienating parts of the secured base. In a time lousy with creatively bankrupt race swaps and gender swaps, I'm not even talking about DEI slop from Wokesteady like weightlifting stereotypically butch lesbian Mrs. Freeze from Sushi Squad. I'm talking about the new race swapped and gender swapped lizard on a Spider-Man show, the one that already had a race-swapped Norman and Harry Osborn. Peter's romantic interest is now his babysitter, and what a surprise. You are reminded of Xbox's limp dick stance on how hard they hope transgender will convince you that this is what a new woman is, as they exclude feminine women with curves, with grace, with cute, even though the masculine, muscly men are no issue, 'cause dat gay. You are reminded that the same activists, journalists, and shills, vocally desperate to hate anyone telling the truth, are furious that reality is compromising their early access grift. My job on this channel is to lose people in the schizo and on occasion regurgitate nonsense so crazy that the radical entities spewing it don't even realize that I'm just repeating what they're saying. So when they acknowledge it as crazy, bitch, you crazy. YouTube is forced to allow people to actually speak a little bit more these days, and even with those boundaries that I test daily, it's not ready for what many of you want to push, but with enough of a push, they'll be forced to allow it. That's how the competition is going to work. Of course, I'm sorry to anybody who deserves the notifications for what you're signing up for here. I'm sorry to those of you getting unsubscribed, the patrons, the sponsors, people joining the Discord. I appreciate you and your support more than you could know. Hearing more developers are just verbatim wishing death upon people because they didn't vote for who they wanted, after years of being accused of death threats with no evidence, I guess, I couldn't be silenced or bullied into helping you sell your buggy garbage. And let's face it, you were no monorail salesman. I'm not the guy to describe the AI situation that wiped out trillions in moments, but the summary that you need is that the Chinese made something available for free that people had to pay for over here, and they got it done for a fraction of the price being wasted over here. Sound familiar? Waste big money and manage to be preachy and antagonize your audience while offering less than free competition? The AI even lets you run it locally or offline on a disconnected laptop, and maybe that doesn't sound relevant to you, but it big deal to those it matters to. Some very weird entities seem to think that calling me China lover will make me silent the way that they wish the Istanphobe words worked, but I warn them, as usual, that their engagement to some is indistinguishable from support, and some people would naturally forget or move on if not reminded and motivated by losers like you. As amused as I am by new fat bitch in gaming and censored slop, I'm just wanting to see how wild things get soon. Should I be buying beans and rice? Let me put that on the wish list. You can send me some beans and rice. Give me some money so I can buy some beans and rice, because something feels imminent. Extra collapsy, if I do say so myself. Maybe you saw Dino Crisis 1 and 2 available on the PC, but what's more interesting is there's a program to see or gauge interest in what may come in the future. How interesting, people listening. PlayStation to have a sole CEO in this guy now, but I'm most excited about the conversation being forced on East versus West. Brave normies feel suddenly safe enough to talk about how ugly, charmless, anti-cute, anti-feminine females must be in woke Western slop that people are expected to pay for. Their offline AI can probably design better characters with a 2-word prompt. Over a year ago, what I was saying made no sense, but you're learning who I'm speaking to, and it's not people with incomplete experiences. There was a time when people didn't believe me, and I don't need them or their apology now. What I want most is for you to be informed so that you can make intelligent decisions. I'm willing to guess that, like me, you want what most people want, which is to be left the fuck alone. Just like with my purchases, but they want strings attached, subscription services, and to be able to dictate how I speak or use what I own. Their actions are a figurative chant, the word fight, over and over and over and over again. And I guess it's time to give these losers what they're looking for. But in this RPG, I've already gifted you the most important tool to use against these losers. And it is a mirror. If they claim they don't want your money, believe them. If they're saying that they want your kind dead, believe them. If they're so non-existent without the vegan ability to frequently talk about their identity, then forget them. If they're desperate to set everyone back and force people to fight by segregating and dividing, then laugh at their cult and do you. A great many people are losing and have yet to lose their jobs because woke specialists are no longer allowed, and these entities will make their hatred known for the people they believe cost them their jobs, when in reality, the mirror, they are to blame. And if their cancer wasn't so objectively irrelevant, a product of a woke and bygone era now, maybe the slate wouldn't be wiped clean and all of these things now memory hold and retcon. Just an example of how not to do this in the future unless your goal is to cost millions. Beta tester Ubisoft crumbling comes as a bookend to the most united rejection of slop in all of gaming history. And some whipped woke losers aren't even allowed to talk about it because that cult makes sure that they only bark when they are told to speak. Some psychopaths who were smoking the Dragon Age crack rocks are going to be furious over the reality of EA crumbling, and the fact of the matter is, The same people saying things like Wukong wasn't diverse enough that also say things like 8 hours in, Suicide Squad doesn't seem like the disaster some were waiting for, and after 5 hours of exploring the galaxy and ghosting past stormtroopers, Star Wars Outlaws is finally winning me over, and I played 7 hours of Concord this weekend and immediately want back in, and I played 6 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and folks, I think this one was worth the wait. Aren't really worth anything in reality. Let's transition back to reality. He shoots. He doesn't want to score with this thing. Ew, the balls are in your court. I wanted to include some losers, brainwashed, video. They're like, you better apologize to Dragon Age and me. The reviews are in type bullshit, but I'm realizing these people getting shamed could be part of the kink, and I will not participate in helping you get your humiliation jolly. Hogwarts Legacy devs seem to have the correct stance on modding, and I'm happy for the community that it will foster. I'm happy in time things will return to a less compromised and less censored state. To the patrons and sponsors, thank you. And to any considering it, I bet your chest really is massive, heaving even. I'm going to establish a tier where if you pay this amount monthly, I'll say your name at the end of every video. Would you like that? Hearing your name read out. Can you believe it? You tell me what you think a reasonable price for a monthly penis to have your name said. What? How many videos am I cracking out a month? So you figure it out in the comments, and then I'll roll with that. And if you don't type a suggestion, then I'm going with like a crazy amount. Test me. I love ya. And I'll talk to you soon. Yeah.